a few days before 4th of July.
It spread quickly to all these other buildings outside that warehouse. A view of it again right there. And then with the fire burning, it's obviously very dry out there. It caused some.
We're going to stick to the 4th of July weekend. For some reason, like I said before, the 4th of July weekend always brings craziness. There's always something going on. Shootings, fightings, and then you got the firework explosions. So, but we're going to go through some of the stuff that's been happening over the weekend. Just right before the weekend and during the weekend, just everything that's been happening. So we're going to, I don't know why 4th of July is always so hectic, but let's jump right into that and see what we can make of it.
Independence Day on the water ended with a boat going up in flames after it exploded last night. Multiple people were injured. Fox 5's Eric Mock is live at Lake Lanier tonight with the very latest. Eric?
Yeah, Tyler, and if you can believe it, 7 people were injured in that boat explosion on Lake Lanier. 7 more people were injured in a different explosion at a different lake in North Georgia. We actually got some eyewitness video. We're going to take you that video right now. This was from Yara Baranovsky. You can see the boat just completely engulfed in flames, a large plume of black smoke coming off it. This happened around 7 p.m. in what's called Landshark Cove near Margaritaville, on Lake Lanier. Now, according to the Hall County Sheriff's Office and the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, 7 people were injured. They ranged in age from 45 all the way down to just 5 years old. And they suffered second and third degree burns. A lot of them had to be transported to the hospital. And we actually got a lot of other video from people who were out there who were shocked to see this explosion happen. It just shows how bad this fire got, with the boat becoming completely engulfed and then eventually sinking. And then we actually had another boating explosion in Union County on Lake Nautilus. In that explosion, again, 7 more people were injured with varying degrees of burns. Now, we are working to find out the current condition of those victims, whether they're still in the hospital
or have been
discharged. But it just goes to show that, this kind of thing can happen when you least expect it, when you're trying to enjoy the holiday here for the 4th of July weekend. This is a developing story. We're going to continue to bring you more details as soon as we have them, including an interview with eyewitnesses of this explosion here coming up later tonight.
Multiple children and an adult were taken to the hospital after a truck crash during the annual Dunwoody 4th of July.
So this video is just it looks like a compilation. I don't know how to say that, but there's a bunch of different incidents that happen. Like it says, hectic holidays. So just a bunch of different things that happen over the 4th of July. So Jesus, let's keep going.
Parade. Officers say the crash happened when an F-150 that was towing a trailer paused to switch drivers during the parade. During the switch, police say the new driver accidentally hit the accelerator, which caused the vehicle to speed forward and knock a pedestrian to the...
So you're telling me that during a parade, while they're driving, they switched drivers and the dude actually hit the acceleration. That's crazy.
Ground. Authorities say the driver hit the brakes to stop the truck, which then led to the trailer disconnecting from that vehicle. Several people on top of the trailer fell off and were injured. Most of the victims were taken to local hospitals. Back here in Georgia, 2 women are recovering after a 4th of July shooting at a Northwest Atlanta apartment complex. Investigators were called to the complex on Middleton Road just after 6 p.m. A 49-year-old woman was shot in the foot and a 23-year-old woman was shot in the arm. It's still unclear tonight what led up to the shooting or if any arrests have been made. Neighbors tell us they thought the gunfire could have been fireworks at first.
Stuff like this.
Crazy. 4th of July. Why is there always shootings at the 4th of July? People always love to shoot out. Something happened.
It's happened all the time, but you didn't think it was going to happen on the 4th. Like, I thought maybe like somebody would,
Who doesn't think it's going to happen on the 4th?
It's usually something like burn themselves on firecrackers or something, and I get shot. So, this is gives praise out to the family and everybody.
I hear about shootings all the time on the 4th of July. That's one thing. The fireworks and somebody blowing their hand off and then somebody getting shot. Those are the 2 things I always hear about.
It appears the shooting happened at some sort of 4th of July gathering. Fox 5 cameras spotted flattened tents on the ground and crunched water bottles as well.
Absolutely wild. That is out. There's always chaos in the 4th of July. But we're gonna move over into the next video. There's still more 4th of July chaos, but let's keep going into it. A warehouse fire out in California for a firework warehouse. So let's pivot right over into that. Things are always popping off.
Thank you.
It is 5:37. Take a look at this. They had a massive explosion. Look at that right there. A warehouse blowing up full of fireworks. This is in California. Look at all the fireworks going off right then. This is at a storage facility right outside of Sacramento is the area where this happened.
So this is, I think, a few days before 4th of July.
It spread quickly to all these other buildings outside that warehouse. A view of it again right there. And then with the fire burning, it's obviously very dry out there, caused some grass fires nearby. They had to evacuate an entire mile around this warehouse out there. And the governor, Gavin Newsom, is calling for an arson and bomb investigation team to investigate.
Damn.
We don't have any word of any injuries.
Back here at home, starting August 1st, adults in Delaware will be allowed to buy recreational marijuana. It comes 2 years after voters passed the act. 120 in public health systems.
That's it for that. We ain't
while
gonna get
creating
into any of that stuff, but absolutely. Let's go back. Let's rewind that a little bit for that fire. That is crazy. Let's mark that up.
Look at that right there. A warehouse blowing up full of fireworks. This is in California. Look at all the fireworks going off right then. This is at a storage facility right outside of Sacramento is the area where this happened. It spread quickly to all these other buildings outside that warehouse.
Yeah,
A view of it again right there.
one spark in it was a storage facility for fireworks. One spark. That's all it takes. The explosion is massive.
And then with the fire burning, it's obviously very dry out there, caused some grass fires nearby. They had to evacuate an entire mile around this warehouse out there. And the governor, Gavin Newsom, is calling for an arson and bomb investigation team to investigate. We don't have any word of any injuries.
Now that is absolutely wild. So the next thing is not really there's no sound to it, but we're gonna jump over into so this is, so let me see, this is a house fire. A house explodes in LA. So there's some images of it. There's no really sound. So we're just going to go through this and see what it's talking about. So look at those look like this is the chopper. That is great. What the? Where am I about to say?
What?
I don't know who's talking, but
Did you guys lose us? Ooh. Bump it up a little, please.
that is wild. Look at that. The
Let
explosion.
me double check my end. Nope, we're still transmitting.
Now let's see if we can find I'm gonna see if I can find a news article really quickly about it. Oh well, I have a news article, but let's see if we can find another video about it. Oh, here it is. There it is. So this one is a good one. Let's get right into this.
Breaking news at 5. A person is dead after a house explodes in Simi Valley, shaking a sleepy neighborhood. Police say the blast was caused by fireworks.
Good evening. Welcome to Fox 7 News at 5 on Fox 11 and Fox 11 Plus. I'm Alex Michelson.
And I'm Christine Devine. That explosion happened just before noon, sending shockwaves and smoke into the air.
Let's go live to Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf in Simi Valley with what we know so far. Matthew.
Well, right now the investigation continues into what caused that initial blast, but I'll step out of the way. You can see what's left of that house, the giant hole through the roof. Investigators still outside, a blast that shook the entire neighborhood. Flames erupting from a home in Simi Valley after a series of explosions. A man found dead inside the house off Edmond Street. Pieces of his garage scattered across the block.
Can I explain? I felt like I was over in Iraq. It's so loud.
Tim Johnson lives nearby and was outside around noon Thursday hearing the initial blast.
It just went boom. That was it. Gone.
Firefighters and police arriving to more explosions lasting for about 20 minutes.
The next thing I know, whole neighborhood shook, and my cat hid in a closet because it was so loud. The whole neighborhood shook.
What do you think it was?
A bomb.
It's early in the investigation, but do you believe this was from fireworks?
What I can tell you is that the initial reports from the neighbors, they were describing what they believed to be fireworks exploding from the garage. I can tell you that we did find fireworks on the scene.
Yeah, I'm kind of really worried for their family right now.
The victim so far hasn't been publicly identified, but Mike Szynski drove here fearing the worst.
I'm very worried that the house is owned by a contractor friend of mine.
What caused the initial blast remains under investigation. Authorities now urging people to follow fireworks laws this 4th of July.
All fireworks in our city are illegal, even the safe and sane ones, so we ask that you leave it to the professionals.
So all fireworks in their city is illegal? That is crazy. Absolutely crazy.
You can see much of the block remains closed off as the crime scene investigators are still out here, as well as several neighbors out here wondering what exactly happened again. Right now, officials still trying to determine what caused that initial blast that set off the massive explosion and the other fireworks to go off.
Now that is wild. Now I'm gonna look at the article I got to see if there's any more information listed in there that they didn't mention, but pretty much everything they found. Yeah, they don't even know for sure if it was fireworks, but it's illegal. It's illegal to even have fireworks out there. Happened around 11:48 a.m. in the afternoon, about to be noon. One of the neighbors said it sounded like a sonic boom, like a rocket ship was coming in. That is crazy. Yeah, I would have freaked out too. That is absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Now, yeah, as you see, the house rocked. It sounded like a sonic boom, like a rocket ship. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yep. Now, that is it for the 4th of July chaos. So we had a bunch of things happening. All right, everybody, remember this is AC Reviews the Word. Remember to like and subscribe.